Hello, today we are going to get started with Blender, or we are going to learn how we can get introduced to Blender and start to use it, just consulting different tutorials that I've made previously so as to create a tuning object, especially those of 3D, or if you want to create 2D animation. So let's get started. Moving to your browser, any kind of browser that you can be using. Here I'm using Google Chrome, and type in blender.org. When you browse on this website blender.org, you can see that today Blender 2.92 is out. So here you can go on download. You can see the button for downloading. And now today I'm not going to download together with you because I've already downloaded this software before. And the important thing that you need to know is that Blender is an open source 3D software, or it is free to use. There is no kind of cost that it can cost you while using it. For example, you can mention like subscription, monthly or yearly. That one doesn't work for this software, but there are some other features that are additional to this software that you will get to learn as the time will come. But today we are going to see, we are going to look on Blender itself. So now you see that we have the website of Blender, and now on this website you can be able to download the software. So me, I have this software, so no need to download it. After downloading this software, you open it in your PC, because it doesn't work for the Android or other kind of smartphone. So then after working on downloading the software, now you come and open the software itself. So here you can see that this is the home page, or the opening page that you see when you open the software. You can see that you can open a general file. When you open general file, it means that you are going to work with 3D. Also you can open 2D animation, a page where you can design your own 2D animations, scripturing, creating characters for games, for movie, or for any other purpose. Also you can do the VFX or visual effects using this software, because it is very powerful, which at some incidences it becomes very hard for many of the computers to learn some of its features. Also you can edit your video. So let's try to open a general one. Yeah, you can see here that when you open general layout or general feature of this software, you see that you start with this box. This is what we call a mesh. In order to add the mesh or delete it, it is simple. To delete, you press X and confirm that you want to delete. So when you want to add a mesh, the mesh are in different forms depending on what kind of object you want it to appear in your scene. For example, you can add a plane. You see that is plane. You can adjust the size. To adjust the size of the object, you press S on your keyboard. So here you can adjust and then enter, or just click on your touchpad. So also let's delete this one, pressing X. Also you can add different kind of mesh, like the cylinder, like the UV sphere. Also you can add a curve. Adding a curve is important because it can help you to design shapes of the objects or the mesh, like the cylinder. But here you will get to know more about the curves as the time will come, because it is something which is somehow sophisticated to learn. So also you can add text within your scene, and to make sure that you type something which is going to make sense, you need to rotate this text. To rotate it, you press R and then type in the degree at which you want it to rotate, but make sure that you specify at which axis it is going to base on while rotating. So there are three main axes that we use in Blender, which that are X. For example, when you press X, you press rotate or R, then X, and type in 90. You see that it is rotated 90 degree on the X axis. Press enter. So when you want to rotate it on the Z axis, R, Z, 90. So you see that it is rotating on the Z axis, and when you want it to rotate on the Y axis, you can press R, then Y, then type in the degree that you want it to rotate. For example, here I'm using 90. You see that is rotating. So another thing that you need to learn or to know, like a foundation that will help you to perform different functions in Blender, it is movement, moving your object. In order to achieve this, you need to press G. You can see that when you press G, you can move it in any orientation, but here also the XYZ axes work. So when you press G and X, it means that you are going to move the object only on the X axis, and when you press GZ, it will be Z axis on it, and the same thing applies to GY. See that is moving on the Y axis. So this is the foundation of many things that we'll be doing while working with Blender. Here there is also navigation button that you can use to adjust the view of your scene. So also you can use different parts of the side keyboard, that the one that contains numbers. So when you press 2, it means that you are rotating it on the X or Y axis depending on the point at which your camera is in, but this also is so complicated. So another thing that you need to know is that when you press 0 on this side part of the keyboard which contains number, it means that you are switching to the view of the camera, and camera also is like other objects, even though there are special settings for it. But when it comes to moving, for example, pressing G, you see that you can move it to the position that you want. Also, when you press rotate, also you can rotate it depending on your will. So which means that also the same shortcuts or keys that are used for objects sometimes work for the camera. Here there are different ways in which you can view your scene. Let's move back to the normal view. You can deal with modeling. Here comes when you are just working with the geometry of your object, adding modifiers, and you will get to learn more about this. Also here there is another kind of view in which you can start sculpturing or creating different characters that you can use in your movie or any kind of project that you are working on. When it comes to UV editing, it means that you are dealing with different vertices on the object. For example, you can use it while painting, while dealing with the particles, and also you will get to understand more about this. Texture painting also deals with the appearance of the object. Can also deal with shading. This is also another way in which you can adjust the appearance, the colors, or the surface of your object. So also you can deal with animation, and this type of animation help you to analyze how you can animate each and every object within the scene using this kind of pen or the board which appear here downward. So there is also about rendering, and rendering is like exporting. In some software they call it exporting, like in Photoshop they call it exporting, but here we rendering your project. You can render it as a portable network graphics or any other format of image, or render it as video. Also there are other important feature which is called the render engine. You choose between if and cycles depending on the type of the object or the type of project at which you are working on. For example, when you are working with the objects that require adding the glowing effect, you are supposed to use the if, because if is the one which perfectly works with this type of object. But when it comes to rendering object that doesn't need glow or other brilliant effect, it works. So you need to choose between the if and cycles or workbench depending on the project at which you are working on. Also, another important part of the software that you need to work with day by day is the viewport shading. You need to know whether you use the viewport. Yeah, the viewport shading. The viewport shading, there is one where you can view your object as wire frames, and this one works when you are dealing with the geometry of the vertices on your object. And also there is another view where you see things as solid, but not seeing or getting the color of those objects. So, and here also you can adjust to this view, or which is called material preview. Here you can see some colors, and here you see the default color is white. Yeah, and also you can see add like environment within your scene. For example, here you can just add this kind of, when it takes time to load, but you can add environment within your scene and watch it in this material view. Also you can move to rendering view. This is an important part that you need to deal with before rendering your project, because the way you see things here when you switch to the camera view, it is how it comes after rendering or exporting. Yeah, let me call it exporting it. So you need to make sure that you switch to the rendered view in order to make sure that what you want as final product are matching to your settings or setups that you have in your scene. So let's try to add a mesh and look on the other important feature of this software. So important feature is the one of editing the vertices of the object, and here to switch to that part of the software you need to press tab, and here you can see that you can see different vertices of this object, and you can use the key that we learned, like the basic one, to adjust the shape of this object. For example, you can use G for movement, and you see that the shape is changing. Now you can adjust the shape of this object using the G key. Also you can use, for example, rotate. Let's try to rotate on the Z axis. You see, also you can be able to adjust the shape or the nature of this object. And also Another thing that is somehow amazing about this one, when you press A, you select all the vertices on the selected mesh or the selected object that you have added in your scene. So you can here adjust the face, the type of the face, or the nature of your object, switching it to wireframe. You will see how surprising this feature of the software, and trying to look on the final result, you see the change. Then click tab again. Yeah, you see that our object is turned into like the border of the one that you have before. You removed the internal part, and this also you find it to be more important while working on some projects. Also, there is another important part which deals with the properties of object. You can adjust if you want something that are more of using mathematical data instead of just adjusting it depending on the way you see it. You can use the properties of the object. Here, for example, you can adjust the location of it. See, there is XYZ, the rotation, when you are not able to use the arrow key. Also the scale, like on the X and Y. And here also, when you don't want to use the properties, use the S, R, and G. So here also, if you want to save it, to save the project as a Blender file, you can go to file and save as in other softwares. Also, you can edit. And here, when you want to render, you move here upward and select here render. You can choose whether you render it as image or as an animation. Rendering it as an animation is used when you are going to render a video. So that's what I can tell today, I can share today. So when you want to also, you can also work with the 2D animation. And here, let me try to work on it a bit. You can start enter new, or yes, you can open new file and open it in this type of 2D animation. Let's not save this one and wait some seconds for it to load. And here you see that there is a change in the way, or in the view of our software, because there's a change because now we are going to deal with the 2D animation. So for example, here you can create your own characters and whatever, and animate it. There are a lot to learn more about this software, but now I just show you that there is those features. So you need to explore it and watch many tutorials from this channel and other channels, so to know more about those features. Also, you can open a video editing space, and when it comes to video editing, also you see that there is a change. Here you can add like a video and add another like how you do it in other video editing software such as After Effects, Filmora, and among others. Also, there is another type or another part of this software which deals with the sculpturing. As I have mentioned it before, it is all about creating characters. They can be human characters or monsters or anything else. And here you start by a sphere, because here you can transform it into like a head or any kind or any part of the character that you may be desiring to use. And you see that here the features allows you to perform it smoothly. So you need to learn more about those features if you are excited about sculpturing. So there is also another part of this software which deals with visual effects or VFX, and this can be used for sci-fi movies or any kind of movies that require visual effects. And this one is more complicated, so as it involves a lot of materials like green screens. Yeah, especially green screens is the major one, as it can help you to come up with visual effects that are more realistic and mind-blowing. So if you are excited about the software, I will be just on this channel. I share more about this general part of the software. These also have a lot of exciting products that comes from it. Like check out some other video that I've produced, like how you can do an intro for your video, or you can model different objects that we see in our daily life, like the video I made about modeling realistic elevator. Also, there are a lot that you can do using this general part of this software. So if you are excited about it, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell, because we will keep you updated about the tutorial that we upload on our channel. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video.